Editing in 4K can be some back-breaking work. Hey PowerDirector peeps, how y'all doing out there? My name is Maliek and I'm back on your screen with more PowerDirector love. You know, the PowerDirector love you need from PowerDirector University. Today we're going to be making a video on editing 4K footage. So let's jump right into PowerDirector Ultimate and make it happen. Here we are in PowerDirector 16. Before we get started, I want to remind you to subscribe to PowerDirector University to see great tips and tricks just like this every Saturday. As you can see, I have some video clips in the media library and a few clips in the timeline. If I right click on this clip that says 4K here at the bottom, and I go to view properties, you can see here that the resolution is 4096 by 2302, and that, my friends, is 4K resolution. So, if you're editing 4K files in PowerDirector, you want to determine what is the best option to efficiently edit your humongous 4K files. Now, the first option is to just bring your file down the timeline. I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab this 4K file. I'm going to bring it down in the timeline. And then you want to see if your PC is powerful enough to edit the raw file. Now, if you have a great processor, a high-end video card, and a substantial amount of memory, you might be able to swing it. This is the best case scenario. And if you have a great computer that can handle 4K files, then you can stop the video right here. Bye-bye. So if you still are here watching the video and you didn't leave, I guess you don't have a supercomputer and you need to hear about the next option, which is called shadow files. So shadow files create a proxy file at a lower resolution that allows you to edit directly in PowerDirector. So if I go to Preferences and I stay under the General tab, you'll see there's a box here that says Enable Shadow Files on high resolution videos. So I want to click on that. And then here next to Shadow File Resolution, it asks me what resolution do I want the file to be. Full HD, HD, or standard. I'm going to pick HD 1280 by 720. And I'm going to click on OK. So here at the bottom left corner of this video, you see now that a little yellow icon showed up. And what that means is it is creating the proxy file or creating the shadow file for me to be able to use in a timeline. Now, the crappy part about shadow files is that once you enable this feature, you have to wait for the proxy file to be created. Now, the proxy file is finally done. You see a little green icon down in the bottom left corner. Once the file is created, it speeds up the video editing process. When you produce the video, PowerDirector will still use the original 4K video file for the finished video, and it will not use the lower resolution 1280 by 720 proxy file that is created. If I drag this down here, you'll see here that file is a little bit of a lower resolution now. Still very responsive. We're good to go, good to edit this clip. Now, if you're having issues using shadow files, you might want to stick around for the last option. If you don't need to stick around, have a nice day. So if you're still here, you must need another option for editing your 4K footage. That option is to convert the files to a smaller resolution, edit your video using the smaller files, and then replace the smaller resolution files with your original 4K footage. Sounds complex? It's not really complex, but it could take a minute, depending on how many files you have. First, you want to give all your 4K files a name that identifies them as a 4K file. As you can see here, I named this one Farm Food 4K. And I actually have 4K files named for all of these 3 clips as well. And you'll see that in a minute. Now, the next thing you need to do is convert your files. Now, I'm going to use a free program called Handbrake to convert the files. If your 4K files aren't MP4, you'll need to convert them to MP4. Then you'll need to convert those to a smaller resolution file because you want all of the files to be the same file format. And Handbrake creates MP4 files. So there that goes. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to show you how to convert the 4K resolution files to 720p resolution. So here is Handbrake. Handbrake is a free program that you can download. I will have the link to Handbrake in the video description. First thing you need to do is open up a file. So I'm going to open up the file that's called Farm Food 4K, and I'm going to create a lower resolution file from that. So I'm going to click on File, open a single video file. And here's the 4K file for Farm Food. Now, as I stated, I have 4K and 720p files for every one of these other clips that's in the library and in the timeline because I'm going to switch them all over to 4K files in a minute. But right now, I just want to grab this one because I don't have a 720p file created for this one yet. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on Open. So you can see here that the container is MP4. I'm going to leave it set to that. And here under the Picture tab, right now the width is 1920 by 1080, but I'm going to choose the preset here, and it's called Very Fast 720p 30. I'm going to click on that one, and it's going to change it to a 1280 by 720 file. Next, I'm going to go to the Video tab. And I'm going to make sure that the frame rate matches the frame rate of the original file. The original file was a 24p, so I'm going to select 24. And then here under the frame rate, I'm going to change it from peak frame rate to constant frame rate. And then I'm going to browse to a location where I want to save the file. And it sends me back to that same folder I was in. Now I'm going to give it the same name, except I'm going to remove 4K from the name because this is not a 4K file. And of course, we want to remember this name because we're going to have to change the files later on. It'll be pretty easy to do. I'm going to click on Save. And then I have everything set up. I'm going to click on Add to Queue. And if you have more videos that you need to convert, then you go ahead and grab the next one by clicking Open Source. You'll grab another one and you'll follow all the same steps and click on Add to Queue. But once you get them all added, you can click on Show Queue. And then you can click on Start Queue and it will convert the clips. Once all of the files are done converting, they'll all have a little green check mark here. And we can go ahead and close this out. And we can close out Handbrake. And now you want to import all of your 720p clips into the editor and do all your editing. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to do Import Media Files. And I'm going to import this one that's called Farm Food. Click on Open. And I'm going to remove these 4K files. I'm going to remove this one from the library. It should have never been here really in the first place. So now all of the files in the library are 720p files. So I'm going to grab this, drag it down to the timeline, do whatever editing I want to do. And everything is beautiful. So now I'm going to go ahead and save my project. So I'll do File, Save Project As, and I'll call this 4K Edit 2. And I'll click on Save. All right, so now that everything's saved, I'm gonna go ahead and close out PowerDirector. And now I'm going to go to my File Explorer. And I'm gonna go to the location where the videos are. And so now what I need to do is change the names of all of the 720p files. Right now it's called Farm Food. And the clips that are 4K have 4K at the end of them. So I'm going to change these, just right click it and do rename and add 720 to the end of all of these. And so now all of the 720 resolution ones are called 720, or they have 720 at the end, and all the 4K ones have 4K at the end. But now if I remove 4K from the end of all of these, they have the same name that the 720p files used to have. And so now remember, these files are all in the same location. And now we've switched all of the 4K files to the name that the 720 files used to have. So now what will happen is when we open up that project in PowerDirector again, it's going to open up these 4K files where the 720p files were and have all the same edits, splits, trim, everything that I edited from those clips will now be edited on a 4K file instead of the 720p file. So let's go back to PowerDirector. I'm going to close this out. And now I'm going to open up the project that I saved. And now you remember that all of these files that did not have 4K on them and all the ones that are checked now, they were the 1280 by 720p file. So now if I right click on it and go to View Properties, we see that the resolution is 4096 by 2302, which means that all of those 720p files were replaced with the 4K files and they're all edited. So I don't have to worry about editing these files, cutting, splitting, and having PowerDirector take forever to do them. If your computer was not as fast as mine, or it's not handling 4K files very well, then this would be a good solution for you if shadow files aren't doing the do. Now all you need to do is go to the Produce tab and export your video using a 4K resolution, and you're good to go. And those are the 3 options for editing 4K files using PowerDirector based on your PC and whether shadow files are your cup of tea or not. All right, PowerDirector peeps, I want to thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. It truly means the world to me. Now, I want to send a shout out to one of our subscribers, Wherever My Mind Takes Me. Wherever My Mind Takes Me makes videos on DIY, unboxing, and drone shots or aerial footage. So if you want to check out some DIY, unboxing, and drone footage, head on over to his channel. Check out a couple of his videos. If you're feeling what he's dealing, make sure that you subscribe. If you guys want to get a shout out like Wherever My Mind Takes Me got, make sure that you head over to the video description and fill out our shout out request form. If you have a tutorial you'd like us to make, head over to the video description and complete our tutorial request form. Now that I'm done with that, I got a few things I need you to do for me. The thumb. The one that's pointed in the upward direction. Click on it. It lets people know that the content in this video was good and that they should watch it too. If you got any comments, questions, you just want to talk or chop it up with your boy, leave those things in the comment section below. And last but not least, smash that subscribe button. And after you do that, click on the bell. When you click on the bell, you receive notifications every time I upload content to YouTube. And that way you don't miss out on any of the learning and all of the fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.